are brave.
That's right. Oh, it's really loud. Is that right?
I can turn it down.
That's
You
fine.
stand closer.
No.
Okay, that sounds, there we go. Well, I love that song by Jana and Stanfield, and if y'all ever want a really great bunch of songs, just all of her songs are inspiring like that, and they really empower me when I'm feeling like I need a little extra help. One of the things I thought was really funny, because you talked about synchronicity and you talked about 11/11, and Jim and I had the funniest talk about Thursday, which was 11/11/21, so 5 ones. And we were talking about when the next one of those would come up, and then we realized that in an even bigger one, 6 2s are coming up in 3 months and 11 days. 2 well, on Thursday. 2 2 2 2 0 2 2. So on February 22nd of next year, it's going to be a kind of cool day. So I just thought it was funny that y'all talked about synchronicity, and then that came up. So my talk today is on the 4 agreements, and I know that many of y'all have read this book, or hopefully if you haven't, then it might be inspired to read it in the future, because it is just a wonderful small book that helps us to be brave, to be able to look at our self-deceptions and find ways through it. A nice little toolbox full of nice little tools. And there's not anything like, wow, that's a whole new thought, because we see it in the science of mind, we see it in the law of attraction, we see it in the Course in Miracles, we see it in the power of now and the power of intention. Every spiritual work includes most of these thoughts. But I just like the way that it's made it into a nice little, easy to read and easy to follow concept. So some of the major premises of this book is that we live in a dream. We're in a fog. We were hooked in at birth. We were domesticated into this dream, and we hooked in our children, and we hook in our neighbors, and we hook in those that we love, and we just always need to have some means of having a nice, safe little world with these agreed upon thoughts. But reality, has this worked? Has this worked to bring us peace and bring us joy and bring us closer to our spiritual selves? Well, all you have to do is look around. You look around at how neighbor is with neighbor, how we are with other political views, how we are with other nations, and how within our own community, within our own families, all that conflict is all because we think that we have found this nice, safe way of communicating, and we all have the same agreements, but we don't. That we have been domesticated, and we have been domesticated using fear and reward. And neither of those allows us our true selves. So the goal is to break these agreements, to break the agreements in this, get out of this fog, get out of the stream, and wake up. Are y'all with me?
Yeah.
Do y'all want to wake up? Say, I want to wake up from this dream.
I want to wake up from this dream.
Thank you. You're right there, that's right. So, to do this, it takes a lot of courage, right? Because every time you try to break out from that dream, there's someone trying to hook you back into it. And so, that courage, that's one of the things that this book helps us to find, is our courage. In the beginning, there was darkness. Now, that darkness, you can think, okay, there's a planet that was dark with no light. But you can think of that darkness as being inside of our own minds. The darkness, the dream, the fog. It is not clarity, it's not joy, it's not love. It's everything but that. And then God spoke and there was light. Well, we can imagine that light lit up our planet, or we can imagine that light lit up us, lit us up inside of our minds. And with that, we have the knowledge of joy and love. And yet, oops, I go back to sleep. We forget about it. So, I choose to have a trajectory of vibrancy, health, joy, more strength, more power than I had last year. And we each can choose to have a trajectory that goes up instead of down, no matter what age we are, no matter what point we are in life. And the way we do that is by how we use the power of our words and our thoughts. And so if you think about, you hold your one hand up and you say, this is where I am. And hold your other hand up and close your eyes, because when I say some words, I want you to think them to yourself, and I want you to feel it's your trajectory. This is where you're going and where you are. These words bring you power and bring you closer to a trajectory that you want or further away. So, passion, joy, good enough. I'll try. Excitement, creativity, maybe later. Strength, 50-50 chance. Vitality, vibrancy, I'm tired. Power. Okay, you can open up your eyes. Think about how that felt. Where do you want your trajectory? It's your choice, it's your words, it's your thoughts, your feelings. But let's not allow that smoky mirror, that fog, that dream to keep us in a place of no joy. And that's what these 4 agreements do for me. They help me, whoops, sorry. There we go. They help me to have nice little tools to get me where I want to go. Well, my nose has gone almost. Just gonna give me 1 second. There we go. First agreement, be impeccable with your word. Seems like a simple concept. Oh, I just shouldn't lie. Well, that concept alone is, if that was the only thing that was being said by being impeccable with your word, that is still so complicated, right? Because we think we're not lying, but we're so caught up in that dream so often that we have no idea of what domestication, what hook has caught you in the concept that, oh, I'm not lying, but is it your truth? Is it bringing you joy? Are those words bringing you closer to joy or closer to living in hell? And living with hell and hell within yourself and living with hell within other people. So, your words are your creative force. They are, your words and thoughts manifest your existence every day. Y'all know that. Y'all are all students of this philosophy. But we all forget. We all fall back asleep. We all need each other to help bring us back to where we know we should be. You have a blade, and on one side of that blade you can use joy, words that lift others up, lift yourself up, words of joy and hope. Or you can have the other side of the blade where you judge, you find yourself lacking, you judge others, you judge yourself, and none of those are going to bring you to a place of joy, no matter how much you think, oh, well, if I talk about that person, it'll make me feel better. No, it just makes you feel in a different place on your ego than you were a moment ago, but it's not at all about joy. So, we don't like it when somebody tries to change us, do we? It feels, yeah. I think we got some real independent people in this place and online, and we don't like it when someone decides that they know better for us than we know for ourselves. But day after day, we might be looking at other people and thinking how, oh, that person could do better than they're doing. Oh, that person, just whatever thought and judgment you have of that person, you're doing to them exactly what you don't want done to yourself. So I know that y'all don't do that ever. I don't know. I do. I wish I was always able to always stay in a place of joy, but I fall. And that's what I like about this book, because when I fall, I can say, wow, I was not being impeccable with my word. So what can I do? Well, okay, I failed, that's okay. I'm not gonna judge myself, I'm just gonna pick myself up, and tomorrow I'm gonna do better. And you find people within your community that helps you stay on that path. And that's why we have so many wonderful workshops going on here, and I'm sure there's many others in the community that help you stay on that path. But what does it mean to be impeccable? Impeccable means without sin. And it doesn't, the sin, for me, usually falls into judgment. Judgment is not without sin, no matter how prettily we package it. What I like to see is us to be able to celebrate other people's diversity. Why does diversity need to create adversity? There's no reason for that. Diversity is beautiful. If you look at someone and you go, I don't know about the tattoos. Tattoos are, that's just not for me. They shouldn't do that because of X, Y, Z. Well, who am I to make a decision about someone else's life? Celebrate it, say, oh my God, that's so cool that that person feels free to express themselves in a way that I don't understand, I cannot do, that I have my own fears around that I don't want to, I can't, whatever. Or, as you were talking about dancing, my other little thing that I love, well, when I dance, I'm sure I make some people uncomfortable because I am very free in my expression of my dance. And I have someone who likes to dance just as free as I do. And so, I'm sure there are people out there going, they just need to tone it down. They need to.
Way too much fun.
They're having way too much fun, and really, it's kind of, aren't they really embarrassing themselves? Because look at everybody staring at them. We could just think that, or we could dance in joy, and and the people out there can either look at us and go, wow, that's cool. I wish I could dance that way. I want to be that free. Or they can say, all those negative thoughts. But if they change it and say, cool, if they can do that, then I am free to do that. I am free to be as open in my own way, whatever it may be, whether it be painting or singing or whatever way you wish to express yourself, or teaching, that you feel the same openness and freedom that you want someone else to feel. But you gotta, catch yourself when you're making that judgment and bless them and say, I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all. And when you're looking at someone and you start down that little path of, they should not be doing that, just look at them and say, I want you to have it all. How can you judge someone while you're saying those words? Because you're now wishing them everything they could possibly want in their life. And that just changes the whole way of where you go. They use the term black magic in this book, and I'm not big on that because I don't like the idea of someone else having a power, and I know he doesn't mean it this way, but just because we all have this concept of black magic, spewing out black magic and controlling someone else with your black magic. Well, you have the choice of allowing that black magic into you or not. I like to think of it as poison. And you think about gossip, and here you have this nice clean vase of somebody who's out there doing their thing and living their life and making their choices, and you're in there going, nope, you shouldn't be doing that. And they're, oh man, if they do something that's worthy of gossip, how much fun that can be, right? Well, it's only fun to your ego. It is not fun to your spirit. Your spirit cringes with gossip. But you just, I'm going to tell this about this person. And you put a little bit of black poison into that nice clear water, and then that person you tell it to puts a little more black magic into that water, and that spreads, and it becomes this nasty, poisonous batch of water. Well, guess what? You have a choice. If you're being the one being gossiped about, you can either pick that up and drink it in, or you can say, oh No, that's your issue. There's nothing you're saying that's about me. It's all about you, and I am not going to accept that poison. But for each of us, it's that choice to be impeccable with your word. Because don't, just allow your words to bring joy and acceptance to yourself and others. And that is the first agreement. You're choosing your higher power instead of your ego. The second agreement, don't take anything personally. I don't know about y'all, but that's a big one for me. All the time. Guess what? Here's a funny one about that. Your ego only believes what that person is saying if you believe it about yourself. And that is one of the hardest things to agree and understand, because you think, well, how dare that person think that about me? Well, it wouldn't bother you at all if you didn't believe it about yourself. If someone says something about you that's not true, you know it's not true, and you just go, I don't know what their issue is, but whatever. But if you believe it about yourself, then why would you be offended that someone else believed it about you, right? Because you can use that as your opportunity to learn about yourself. If that rock hits you, you go, oh, jeez, really? I still think that? And then you get to change, say, okay, well, I don't want to think that anymore, so I'm going to shine that light in me. Let the light shine through me. And I'm going to heal that hurt. I'm going to heal that belief that is making me, or that's allowing me to feel that feeling. You get to, by doing that, reclaim your power. We are each powerful, born with this beautiful, incredible power inside of us. But every day that we're trying to live by this, other people's beliefs, live in this dream of the planet, it wears us out. We get more and more tired, but every time we see that dream, see it as a dream, see it as a hook that we bought into when we were children, we can change it and make it a new agreement, an agreement that brings us power instead of that angst. In reality, nothing that anyone ever says about you is about you. Never. It's always about them. It is a mirror. And that's what I like to say when people are making ridiculous assumptions about me, as I go, perception is a mirror, not a fact. And I just reflect it right back at them, because that's the best, that's the best way to deal with that, because then you're not taking it personally. You are letting that light shine right back, and then they can either say, no, it's not, and they keep on going with their life, or they can say, oh, golly, you're right, I am judging. And if, it depends upon their self-awareness, right, on whether they're going to be able to say to themselves, wow, she got me judging. Oops. I think I'm going to turn that around. It's always, as Kim said in our meeting last night, it's their business. It's not your business. What they think is their business. I love that. And just don't drink in that poison. And how do you know that this perception is a mirror and not a fact? Because if you're in a situation, like let's say you've painted a beautiful painting, and you have one of your dear friends come in and they look at the painting and they don't see whether it was technically correct, or whether you used all the right colors, or whether its perspective was just right. They look at it and they see what you created, and they love that you created that, and they love you, and they see what you've done, and they give you wonderful feedback, and make you feel great. And then someone else sees it who doesn't see you that way. They say they love you, but they don't really understand you, they don't really like you, they don't really know you. And they look at that painting and they go, oh yeah, I think you could use different colors. And your perspective on that building is a little crooked, and it's a very good beginning. Good start. Good try. You know that by that, you have one painting, two perspectives. You know that that person's perspective is theirs and not yours. What you felt when you painted it is yours, and that is either can be your joy or not. Here's the cool thing. This is what's going on in our minds is only one little tiny fraction of the thoughts that we have available to us. We are connected through spirit to each other, to every body of thought that has ever been thought. And that's why sometimes you wake up and you have this, oh, cool, that's a cool thought, or wow, that's right, I forgot to do this, I need to do this. Whatever it may be, it's just this, this realm is available to you. And so you can either take in the thoughts of those around you that either love you or don't love you within your own head, or you can only bring in the thoughts that bring you joy, where you feel peace and joy and connected and happy. And let those words be the ones that sit with you the most instead of the thoughts and perspectives of others. Don't make assumptions. That is the third agreement. Well, don't make assumptions. That's another very useful tool, because if you think back on every single major conflict you've had, not only have you made assumptions about that person, but that person's probably made assumptions about you, and all it does is creates conflict, because that assumption is going to it's going to get you to take something personally. You're going to assume that you know what they want, what they thought, why they did it, and all it does is create judgment on your part for them. And if they make assumptions about you, you get angry. And those two ego conflicts aren't going to resolve anything. So, every big conflict you've ever had probably had a major portion of one or both of you making big assumptions. So, here's some great assumptions that we might have for others. I know what that person is thinking. You don't even know what you're thinking. How can you possibly know what someone else is thinking? My partner knows what I think, so I shouldn't have to tell him what Who's done that one? Oh my gosh. Because they're mind readers, and that's all they're thinking about is, what do you want? What do you want? They're not, that's all they have to think about. So how ego-based is that one? My partner's going to do what I want, since they know me so well. Well, that's another way to have a great relationship. Everyone sees life the way I do. Okay, well, you really believe in your dream, if the dream of society, if that one you believe, because just look around at the conflict among, oh my goodness, everyone in this country and all the conflict that we're feeling right now. Everyone does not believe the way you believe, and therefore, that's a failure right there. And everyone thinks the way I think. That's kind of the same thing. This one's a little longer. Everyone feels the way I feel, judges the way I judge, and abuses the way I abuse. You know that we can never be abused more than we abuse ourselves. If someone abuses us a little less in our relationship than we abuse ourselves with our own thoughts and our own feelings and own, what we think we deserve, then we'll stay in that relationship. But once they abuse you just a little bit more, you'll go, oh, that person, they're very abusive. I'm getting out of here. And that's great, get out of there. But hopefully, as you raise yourself up on your own emotional guidance scale, you'll take a lot less abuse until you're able to say, if this relationship doesn't bring me joy, I'm out of here. That's a great place to have your goal. But, so again, when we have when others don't live up to our expectations, there is nothing but drama. And when others don't live up to our expectations, we feel anger. And this is why we are afraid to be ourselves around other people. Not, I think in here, we're feel pretty safe being ourselves and feeling loved and knowing that we're in a safe community where we are accepted. But man, step out of here and maybe step into your family dynamics. I don't know about your family dynamics, but family dynamics can create a lot of angst and fear about speaking about who I am. How do you keep from making assumptions? First question I ask myself in a situation where I'm in an assumption, where someone's making assumptions about me, or I'm wanting to make assumptions about them, I can say, do I want to experience peace, or do I want to experience conflict? I love that little saying, because, I want peace. So if I'm feeling the desire to go towards conflict, I hope that I am able to rein myself back in. Ask questions, don't assume anything. Ask questions until you get exactly to the point that you want to be, where they have fully and clearly expressed themselves. And as Jim said this morning, to do that, you gotta allow the mansplaining and womansplaining sometimes. Because that is, someone is trying their best to express how they feel. And we might get offended by that. Well, just let them express it, because that's what you need to do. Because the other part of that is when you ask questions and not assume anything, they may tell you something that's gonna make you feel real uncomfortable. But this is part of being truthful with each other. And if you get to that place and they're being as truthful as they can, and it's triggering something in you, and you respond with anger to them, you have stopped that truth from happening next time. And then you start going, why don't we ever talk like we used to? Why can't we be free with each other and speak our truth with each other? And your other person's going, I get punished every time I speak my truth, or it hurts you and I don't want to hurt you. So let them speak their truth. Let them say no. Let the truth of what they want to say or feel be expressed and accepted. And if it triggers something in you, you can say, wow, that triggers something in me, but own it. Don't expect them to change who they are to protect you.
Well said.
Thanks. So, opposite of the black magician is the white magician, who uses words of light and creation for giving and sharing and loving. Now the last one is, remember to always do your best. That one kind of just ties it all together. It gives power to all the other ones, because if you, by mistake, aren't authentic with your word today, you can say, I didn't do my best. I want to do my best. I'm always going to do my best. So tomorrow I'm going to do better at being impeccable with my word by not making assumptions. These are the ways to empower these other agreements. And the wonderful thing about always doing your best is that no matter what someone says in judgment of what you've done, you can just say, well, I really did my best. Don't say I did my best if you really didn't. But if you really did your best, you should have no guilt, no sense of shame, no sense of, oh, I should have done better, because you know you did your best. And if you do your best with any situation, you can do it for the joy of doing it. You don't have to do it for the, for what reward you're going to get. You're just going to do it for the joy of doing your best. When you're not doing your best, or when you're afraid that you cannot do your best, you might go into inaction and just sitting on the couch and watching TV, or drinking a few too many beers, or whatever way you take in action, because it just, you just kind of shut the door on doing your best. And when you shut the door, then you're not being fully alive. And we want to be able to be fully alive at all points. So if you find yourself shut down and not doing your best, just decide for that day, I'm going to do my best. And take one step towards doing your best. And each day, do it a little bit more, until you find you're doing your best. And you're keeping your agreements, and you're changing where you were to where you want to be in your trajectory. It's one way of saying thank you, God, when you always do your best. We're not always gonna, even when we're doing our best, may fail dramatically. And that's okay. That takes practice. It takes practice to, when you're learning something new, it takes practice. And that's what these 4 agreements, it's gonna take practice. If you choose to go down this path, you practice a little bit more every day. And because we were born with the right to be happy, and that is what I want to practice every day, is to make sure that what I'm choosing brings that happiness. So, if you break your agreements, just start over. Keep starting over, and eventually they will become easy, and you will become a master at them. Summary of the book. We transform our world into a vision of heaven instead of this vision of hell that everybody tells us, oh, just behave properly and you'll be happy. That's just hell. That's not, we want to transform it into a vision of heaven. It takes a very strong will. This is not easy. This is because every person you're going to come across that is not also on this path is going to be trying to bring you back, hook you back into their dream of how you should be. So you have to be strong, and you have to be a warrior. And a warrior who fights for what they believe in. And a warrior versus a soldier in this situation, because a soldier takes orders and does what they're told to do, and we're blessed by our soldiers. But for this spiritual journey, you can't be a soldier because no one else can tell you what you're going to be. You have to be a warrior and find your own path and your own way, because we were born to be happy. That is our goal in life. And now what I would like everyone to do is find someone next to them to look at, look in their eyes, and if you don't have someone, just find someone. Okay, Sherry, Sherry's back there. Come on, Sherry. Y'all, want y'all to do this. Come on, find someone to look at. All right, there he goes. Is everybody partnered up? No. Greg, look at Jim. Jim says I can't do this. Okay. I want you to say, what if y'all decide I'm going to be number 1? And number 1 is going to say to the other one, looking in their eyes, I want you to have it all.
I want you to have it all.
No, just what? Number 1, say it. I want you to have it all. And the other person says, thank you. Everything is working out for me. And then reverse it. No, the other person saying, has everybody done it both ways?
Yes.
That is my blessing for each of you. And if you're at home, I hope you said it to yourself. I want you to